If you feel like you have to try harder to be attractive, you're already in the wrong game. Because the most attractive women aren't performing beauty like a job. They're present. And presence does something performance never can. It makes people feel you before they evaluate you. Here's the simple truth I want to give you today. Attraction is not only a look. It's a signal. It's what your body language, your energy, your voice, your standards, and your attention are communicating without words. When a woman is fully present, she looks more confident, sounds more grounded, and feels safer to be around. And that makes her more attractive without adding one extra step to her routine. This isn't about pretending you don't care. It's not about playing games. And it's definitely not about becoming cold. It's about removing the hidden performance pressure that makes you look tense, rushed, and approval-seeking even when you're beautiful. Performance says, please choose me. Please like me. Please don't misunderstand me. Presence says, I'm here. I like myself. And I'm not rushing to earn a place. I want to give you a practical framework you can carry into your day. 4 parts. You can remember it like this: arrive, anchor, soften, and choose. Arrive means you stop living half in your head and half in other people's opinions. Anchor means your body and breath become steady, not scattered. Soften means you stay warm and feminine without shrinking. And choose means you make decisions from standards, not from fear. When you do these 4 things consistently, you become the kind of woman people describe as magnetic. Even if she's wearing a simple outfit, even if her hair is in a bun, even if her makeup is minimal, because her attention is clean, her nervous energy is calm, her reactions are measured, her words are fewer but stronger. Let's start with arrive. Most women are physically present but mentally absent. They're scanning, they're comparing, they're wondering how they look, they're trying to control the impression. And that internal noise creates a subtle tension in the face, the voice, the posture. People can sense it. They might not name it, but they feel it. Arriving is a skill. It means you put your attention where your body is. When you walk into a room, you don't immediately shrink into, how am I being perceived? You move into, what am I observing? What am I contributing? How do I feel in my body right now? This shift alone can change your attractiveness because it changes your eyes, your pace, and your presence. Here are a few sentences that help you arrive in real life, and I want you to actually use them. When you catch yourself performing, say in your mind, I'm allowed to be here. Another one, I don't need to prove myself. Another, I can be quiet and still be powerful. Another, my job is to be present, not perfect. Now anchor. Anchoring is how you stop looking rushed. Rushed is one of the biggest attraction killers because it communicates anxiety. It communicates, I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to manage everything. I'm trying to be safe. Anchoring is not slow motion, it's steadiness. Anchor with breath and posture. Shoulders down, jaw relaxed, feet grounded. You don't need a dramatic posture change. Just stop collapsing forward like you're apologizing for taking space. One small adjustment: lift your chest slightly, relax your shoulders, and let your face rest, not a fake smile. A neutral calm. Here are sentences you can say out loud that create anchored energy because they remove urgency. Let me think about that. I'll get back to you. I need a moment. Can you clarify what you mean? That's a good question. These sentences buy you time, and time makes you look confident because you're not being pulled around by pressure. Let me give you a work scenario. You're in a meeting. Someone asks for an update or asks you a question you didn't expect. The performing version of you might rush to fill the silence. You talk fast, you over-explain, you add extra details to sound competent. You might even apologize before you speak, like, sorry, I'm not sure. That apology makes you smaller before you've even said your point. Presence looks like this. You take one breath, you look up, and you say, Let me answer that clearly. Or, here's what I know right now. Or, I want to be accurate, so I'll confirm and follow up. Notice how calm those sentences are. They don't beg for approval. They communicate authority. And the irony is, you become more attractive in professional spaces when you stop trying to be impressive and start being steady. Now, a family scenario. You're at a dinner or on a phone call. Someone makes a comment that pushes your buttons. Maybe it's a judgment, a backhanded compliment, a joke that isn't a joke, a question you don't want to answer. The performing version of you might laugh to keep the peace. You might explain yourself. You might get defensive because you want to be understood. You might overtalk because you don't want to look difficult. Presence is anchored. Presence says fewer words. Presence can be warm without being available for disrespect. Here are sentences a present woman uses with family. I'm not discussing that. That topic doesn't work for me. Let's change the subject. I'm here to enjoy the day. That tone isn't okay with me. If someone pushes, she doesn't argue for her boundary, she repeats it calmly. I'm not discussing that. And then she moves on. That calm repetition is attractive because it's self-respect in action. It tells people you're not easily moved, not easily manipulated, not easily pulled into chaos. Now dating. This is where performance becomes dangerous because performance makes you chase. Performance makes you abandon your standards to avoid losing attention. Performance makes you text too much, explain too much, accept too little, tolerate inconsistency, and call it being understanding. Presence in dating is a woman who is not trying to earn a seat. She's observing whether the seat is even worth taking. Here are sentences a present woman uses in dating. I like consistency. I'm looking for something steady. I'm not available for mixed signals. No, thank you. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not rushing this. I'll pass. I prefer clear plans. These sentences make you more attractive because they create clarity. And clarity feels like confidence. Imagine a scenario. Someone you like disappears for days and then returns with a casual message like nothing happened. Performance says, it's okay, I was busy too, I'm chill, even when you weren't chill. Presence says, I prefer consistency. If that's not your style, I understand, but I'm stepping back. That is attractive because it's calm power. It's not reactive. It's not needy. It's a choice. Now let's go to soften, because many women misunderstand this part. They think that to have standards, they must become sharp, cold, or intimidating. That's not true. Softening is not people-pleasing. Softening is warmth without self-abandonment. A soft, present woman has gentle facial expression, slow controlled movements, and a warm tone, but she does not overgive. She is friendly, not familiar. She is kind, not accessible to disrespect. This balance is what many people call feminine magnetism. Softening looks like listening fully. When someone speaks, instead of planning your next line, it looks like holding eye contact for a second longer, not as a stare, but as grounded attention. It looks like smiling when you mean it, not as a shield. It looks like speaking with a lower, calmer tone, not raising pitch to sound harmless. It looks like letting compliments land without rejecting them. Here are sentences that help you soften without shrinking. When someone compliments you, say, thank you, I appreciate that. If someone offers help, say, yes, thank you, that would help. If someone asks how you are, instead of performing, I'm fine, say, I'm doing okay. I've had a full week. If someone tries to pull you into gossip, say, I'm not into that conversation. If someone speaks over you, say, I'd like to finish my thought. These are soft sentences with firm edges. Now choose. This is the part most women avoid because choosing creates consequences. Choosing means you stop doing things that make you look desperate for approval. You stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop entertaining what you don't want. You stop auditioning. Choosing is what makes your beauty feel expensive. even if you live simply, because standards are always visible. They show up in what you tolerate, what you repeat, what you respond to, and what you ignore. A woman who chooses doesn't reply instantly to every message, not because she's playing hard to get, but because she has a life and she's not ruled by urgency. A woman who chooses doesn't accept last-minute plans that feel like leftovers. She says, "That doesn't work for me, but maybe another time." A woman who chooses doesn't accept disrespectful humor. She says, "I don't like that." A woman who chooses doesn't explain her no like she's asking permission. She says, "No, thank you." A woman who chooses doesn't keep performing for someone who already decided not to value her. Let's do a friendship scenario, because attraction is not only romantic, it's social. It's energetic. Friendships also reflect your presence. Imagine you have a friend who always unloads on you, but when it's your turn, she disappears. Performance says, "It's fine, I don't want to be needy." Presence says, "I care about you, and I also need our friendship to feel balanced." If the friend respects you, the friendship deepens. If she doesn't, you learn something without drama. That is attractive, that is grown, that is calm confidence. Now, I want to give you a guided journaling exercise that makes all of this personal, because presence is not theory. It's a daily practice. Get your notes app or a notebook and write the first line exactly like this. "The place I perform the most is," and finish the sentence. Maybe it's dating. Maybe it's work. Maybe it's around certain family members. Maybe it's with women you compare yourself to. Maybe it's online. Next line. "When I'm performing, I usually do," and write what you do. Do you overtalk? Do you laugh when you're uncomfortable? Do you chase? Do you dress for approval? Do you become extra agreeable? Do you explain too much? Be honest. Next line. "Under the performance, I'm afraid that," and finish it. Afraid of being rejected, misunderstood, replaced, judged, left, seen as too much, seen as not enough. Now write. "If I replace performance with presence, I willed," and choose one small action. One. Something you can do this week. For example, I would pause before answering, or I would stop sending the second text. I would say no without explaining, or I would ask for clarity, or I would stop apologizing for my needs. Now write one calm sentence you will practice, tailored to your situation. If it's work, maybe it's, "Let me confirm what's expected." If it's family, maybe it's, "I'm not discussing that." If it's dating, maybe it's, "I prefer consistency." If it's friendships, maybe it's, "I need balance." If it's self-talk, maybe it's, "I don't need to prove myself." Close your journaling with this line, "The woman I'm becoming feels like," and describe her in a few words. Calm, clean, warm, clear, grounded, not perfect, present. Now, I want to give you something practical you can start doing today to look more attractive without trying harder. It's a presence reset. It takes under a minute and it changes your entire vibe. Relax your shoulders. Let your tongue rest. Let your eyebrows soften. Breathe in slowly and breathe out a little longer than you breathed in. Then choose one thing to focus on in your environment, just one. The sound of a fan, the feeling of your feet, the color of a wall. You just arrived, that's presence. And when you arrive, your face changes, your eyes change, your voice changes. People often ask, what's the fastest way to become more attractive? Here's a real answer: stop abandoning yourself mid-conversation. Stop leaving your body. Stop negotiating your worth with nervous energy. Start staying with yourself. Let me give you a few more sentences you can use that make you instantly more present. I hear you. I need a moment to respond. I'm going to think about that. I prefer something different. I'm not available for that. I'm good with my decision. I'm not rushing. I'm comfortable with silence. I'm choosing what's best for me. That's more than 10. And you don't need all of them. You just need a few that feel natural in your mouth. And there's a quiet truth about attraction that most women learn the hard way. The more you perform, the more you attract people who want you to keep performing. And the more present you become, the more you attract people who respect a woman with standards. Presence is like a filter. It improves your life, not just your look. If you've ever noticed that you're most attractive when you're not trying, it's not magic. It's because you're present. You're in your body. You're enjoying something. You're not scanning for approval. You're not managing the impression every second. You're not chasing. You're simply being. That's why I always tell women, focus less on being noticed and more on being unforgettable, not with drama, with steadiness, with clarity, with the feeling people get when they're around you. That feeling is built by your daily choices. Here's what presence looks like in small moments. You walk slightly slower. You stop fidgeting with your phone when you're nervous. You listen without interrupting. You stop filling silence with nervous words. You smile only when you mean it. You keep your no clean. You let compliments land. You don't chase someone who is inconsistent. You don't compete for attention. You choose quality over chaos. Now I'm going to recap the framework so you can remember it without effort. Arrive, anchor, soften, choose. Arrive means your attention comes back to the room, not the audience in your head. Anchor means your breath and posture tell the truth. You are safe, you are steady, you are not rushed. Soften means you stay warm without becoming easily controlled. Choose means you live like your standards matter, even when you could get attention by abandoning them. And let me also recap the main message in plain language. Women become more attractive without trying harder when they stop performing for approval and start living from presence. Presence is not a vibe you fake. It's a skill you practice. It's what happens when you treat yourself like someone worth protecting. If you want a simple promise to take with you, make it this: I will not trade my peace for attention. I will not trade my standards for reassurance. I will not trade my self-respect for the illusion of being chosen. I will be present. I will be clear. I will be warm. And I will choose. You don't have to be perfect to be attractive. You don't have to be the most beautiful woman in the room to be the most magnetic. You just have to be the most present version of yourself. The woman who is with herself, not performing for the room. And if this feels new, if it feels uncomfortable, if your old habit is to perform, don't shame yourself. Performance kept you safe at some point. It helped you belong. It helped you avoid conflict. It helped you be liked. But you don't need that strategy forever. You can upgrade it. Start small. One pause before you answer. One clean no. One moment of silence you don't rush to fill. One boundary you don't explain. One compliment you accept. One standard you keep. These are tiny actions, but they create a woman who feels different to be around. A present woman is not exhausting to watch. She's calming. She's clear. She's not begging for the moment. She is the moment. You are allowed to be beautiful without effort. You are allowed to be attractive without performing. You are allowed to be warm without being available for disrespect. And you are allowed to be present starting now.